here around here where we live. So maybe it's one of your places. His name's Carter.
No, all of ours are in the
Okay.
Yeah.
I know them. They're on the other side of the city. But she has really, she's just this wonderful mom, and she has really opened up my eyes to like how this can be a great thing, which I love.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. There is a bruncheon happening right now in Minnesota. It's called the Tender Heart Brunch. It's for special needs moms. It's put on by the Minnesota Viking. Which one? My mind just went blank. But they do it every year. So a bunch of our moms are there. And here comes the dupe. Hello, everyone. It looks really nice here, but it's not. It's like 30.
Yeah, it's cold.
Hi, Coops. You're going to Grandma's for 2 sleeps. Yay!
Did you guys find his whiteboard?
No.
I found a piece of paper last night with 2 nights at Grandma's written on it. It was
Lauren.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm really, really excited about this. But no, the whiteboard, it's in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Which is very strange.
Yeah,
I think it might be under something. You know, like got kicked.
He just waved.
Okay, hi, everyone. You remind me of like a famous person right now. Like you look like someone.
Yeah, it's because my hair's curled.
I'm top looking here. Okay, everyone. So we are we're near Duluth, Minnesota. And when I had did a live with you the other day, I had mentioned that my friend Angela, is it HR?
Kind of. So I do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us how you started working with people with disabilities.
Okay. I actually was a para for a little bit in high school.
Oh.
Yeah, my senior year, I did para work in the special ed rooms. And then after that, when I graduated, I went to school for medical assisting. And I did my clinicals in like an outside clinic situation and realized I actually hated it. And I wanted to get back in like special education in some way. And then my friend actually worked at the company that I work at now.
Okay.
And she was like, you should just apply as a DSP.
Which is what?
Direct support professional. So it's like your staff, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, PCA, whatever you want to call it. We call them direct support professionals. So I applied and I got the job, and I worked there for about 2 years, and I became the lead staff at my house, which is like a house supervisor.
Okay.
And then a couple years doing that, and then I was asked to go and work up at the office. So now I manage them.
And did you know, so I'm just going to say husband,
Yeah.
Eric, did the same work.
In college.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my husband Jamie knows her husband from college. That's how they met, and that's how this has all come to be. They're very good friends still. And Jamie has always said Eric used to work with individuals like Cooper.
Yeah.
Which
He worked in like with peds. It was with kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he worked in like a pediatric group home setting.
And I could picture him. So Eric is the calmest person from what I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I picture him like, and then also like if he was to get rattled, like I don't even know.
It's still a calm.
Yes.
Rattle. Yeah. It's not like blow your lid.
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's actually really funny when he gets like frustrated because I'm like, are you even frustrated?
Is this real?
Are you upset? I don't know. Yeah.
He's a pacer.
He is.
Okay, so tell us about the company that you work for.
So we're relatively small. We have 12 group home sites and 3 IHOs. So IHOs are different. They're not licensed through the county. IHO stands for Independent Housing Option. And the thing with the county is they change the verbiage a lot. So they call it something different.
And there's also a
now.
moratorium, right?
Yeah. So that's
starting new ones.
Yeah. So that's what we've kind of run into. We would like to open more licensed group home settings, but that moratorium is just like, unless you're grandfathered in, you can like move beds around to different houses if they're existing beds already.
Well, and what I've heard is that group homes are sometimes seen as a drain on a neighborhood. Is this true? And there could be police calls or, and so isn't there like a distance?
It depends on the neighbors.
Okay.
Like we actually have this instance where we have one of our houses has the worst neighbors, and they call the owners pretty frequently. We hear yelling at 10 o'clock at night, and or they wanted to know when we opened that house if it was if there were like sexual offenders there. And it's like those are things that everybody has to be notified.
Yeah,
prior.
yeah.
So like you would have known.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But the company owners are really good at they take no crap when it comes to that.
Good.
You know, like they're very understanding, but they're also like, this is not just your world. Like, this is just not just your neighborhood. These guys have every right to live here also. And
well, and that's like, so when they closed institutions and they started group home settings, it's to keep individuals like Cooper in the community, in like in towns and with neighbors and
And you know, person-centered planning is huge right now. It's actually part of like a licensing requirement. Every single one of our guys has to have a yearly person-centered planning tool put into place. Yeah, so all of that goes into it. And like the sole purpose is for them to live as independently or as safely or both as possible with support. So that's the whole purpose, you know. So nobody is keeping anybody locked away in a house because it makes the neighbors uncomfortable. We would never.
No. Okay, so explain the other one. So you said there was two types.
Oh yeah.
The license?
The licensed and unlicensed. So IHO is an independent housing option. So those guys, they have a waiver, but they're usually very low. They're normally very high functioning community jobs, not day placement kind of situations. They pay their own rent and they pay for their own food, and their staffing is usually pretty minimal.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then, what part does your company have with it? Do they do any
we own
like?
the house.
Okay.
We own the house. We provide the staffing, whatever that ratio looks like. They all have their own company vehicles.
That's who it is. Jane the Virgin actress. Is that America Fiera?
No, that's I just know her as Jane.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'll take it. She's
Yes.
No, they all have their own company vehicles, so the staff there will take them to like doctor's appointments, to the grocery store, activities. We really encourage like paid activities. There's so much now for adults with developmental disabilities to get into. There's bingoes, there's dances, there's social clubs, there's cards, arts and crafts. The two big ones in our area are Highland Friendship Club and Adaptive Rec. So if anybody's local, those are great.
What were the two?
Adaptive Recreation through St. Paul, and
so
then
we have that through
Highland
Woodbury
Friendship.
too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep, and it's and a lot of stuff for like Cooper's age.
Yeah. Highland Friendship Club is also a great one. One of the founders of Highland Friendship Club, her son lives with us.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the owner of our company sits on their board there. So they do actually like a lot of experimental kind of classes to see like if it would, with just our guys exclusively. To kind of like they get like a first couple classes to see how that goes. And
that's a great idea though, to see if it would work.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so here's more questions.
Yeah. Somebody said they have 3 group homes in our neighborhood. I have regular conversations with one of the guys. That's how most of their neighbors are. That's typically the normal. We have a few houses where the neighbors are just, they're friends with the guys there. And one of our guys, specifically the neighbor across the street, she loves him. He will go and like help her walk her dog. She's getting older. So they'll go and walk their dog together. He'll go over there. She's just right across the street. He'll go over there and like help her with yard work in the summer, and it's adorable. Yeah, it's really cute.
Okay, so what are the age, like, are there age limits? What does the age look like? And then do men and women house together? Kind of talk about that.
So we actually don't have any females.
Oh, really?
Not by choice. It's just kind of have happened that way.
Okay.
The owner of our company, he came from, backstory, he opened the company because 2 of his brothers lived in group home settings, and he just did not like the way that they were run. They were kind of, institutions were closed.
It's always a sibling that like does it.
Yeah. So he opened the company, and then he didn't move his brothers over right away because 2 of the clients that he worked with currently at his current job basically begged to go with him.
Okay.
And so he took those 2 first, and then it's a process of like opening houses and etc. So that's how the company came to be. What was your question?
Age limit. Like,
okay, yeah. So we have guys that have came to us straight from pediatrics like
little
aged
kids?
out of, no, like 18.
Oh, 18,
Like
okay.
aged out of, a minor group home setting. And then our oldest guy is 80.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So we have a very,
Oh my gosh.
I'd say the median of them are 40s, 50s. But
Well,
they've been
that's
with
older
us
than
for
I
a
thought.
long time. So our company, it'll be 26 years this year. And we have a handful of guys that have been there since the beginning. We also have a lot of staff who've been there since the very beginning. So.
Okay, so if you had females, could females be with males, or would it be
Yeah,
separate?
they can. They can be together. A lot of companies do it that way. I think it would depend on the person.
The person. Like, I wouldn't worry, like, for example, and this has come up in conversation because Jamie and I talked about, like, his friend Peyton. Would we want to find a place for Peyton and Cooper, or just Liz and Cooper, or different things? Cooper does not have a sexual bone in his body.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, that could change. We don't anticipate it changing. So, like, we wouldn't worry, but I could see if you had a more sexual person, which is very common, that you would want to keep it male.
And you wouldn't ever want to have like a higher functioning male with a lower functioning female, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So it really just depends on the people and what they're like and what they need. Like their staffing ratio also plays a big role in that.
I've been sometimes it's hide things. I've been a DSP for 20 years. For first 13 years, I work with kids, teenagers, autism. Isn't it funny how it hid that? It picks that comment as being something naughty.
Yeah.
Okay, so first, would you take individuals like Cooper, or is he too high need?
No, we have very higher need individuals than Cooper.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then what does a day look like, or what does a life look like, or...
Yeah. Well, again, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
So I'd say we're pretty split. Like a third of our guys go to day placements, a third of our guys work in the community, and probably a third are we call retired. Because they're older, so it doesn't make sense for them to get up at 6:30 every morning and get on a bus and go sit in a room. You know what I mean? It just doesn't.
Quality of life.
Yep, exactly. So we're a pretty mixed group. And then we also have a handful of guys who have such high behaviors they can't go to day placement.
Which is what I think about Cooper right now, which
Yeah.
could change. But
So what we do in that situation is those guys typically have a one-to-one staff, and they act as their day placement that day. So they'll, depends what they're interested in. So for example, for like, if it was somebody like Cooper, they would plan, outings to go do. Because you don't want people...
One-to-one?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we actually have a few guys that are 2-to-1. 2-to-1 staff, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we have a few houses that are actually 3 or 4 staff on at one time.
Is there a lot of autism?
Yeah, that's probably the bulk of it, yeah. But then we also have, mental health disorders, behavioral disorders. We have a few guys with Down syndrome, which if you ever met anybody with Down syndrome, it's like every day is the happiest day of their entire life. So we actually have a house where 3 out of the 4 guys there have Down syndrome, and every time you walk in, like somebody's always singing karaoke. It's just like, it does not matter the time of day. Somebody's always singing karaoke. And all of our houses are, full-size family homes, and 3 to 4 people in each house.
3 to 4?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then staff spends the night?
Yep. We have 11 out of the 12 have a sleep overnight staff. 1 isn't awake. Mm-hmm.
Okay, there were some questions here, so I'm going to go back. So... Can the young adults go and stay with their families as well, like if they wanted to go home?
Yeah, so this gets to be a little bit dicey because we have such a mixed bag. So we have a lot of guys who have a very steady home life with their family, and they go home often. We have some guys who go home every single weekend from like Friday to Sunday.
I love that.
They're always gone on holidays. They go, on vacation with their family. And then we have the handful of guys who don't have family, whether because like they're older and so their family members have died, or they came to us from like a minor group home.
Maybe they never had anybody.
Yeah, they were essentially like abandoned in that situation. So yeah, everybody, if they have family to go home to, they're very welcome to. The county though does set like parameters on how long your guys can be on. It's called like LOA. Before it will start to affect their waiver services.
Because it's billing.
Yeah.
like, this is a total different aside, but like when Cooper used to nap every day and he was in ABA, at school they'll let him nap as long as they want. At ABA, it's billable hours.
Yeah.
So they're like, we have to get this kid awake.
Yeah.
So
we
can
also
start.
have an in-home department, which is completely separate.
Oh.
Where our staff go into their homes, either with like their families, or some guys have like their own apartments, you know, things like that, and just help them with whatever they need there. Usually it's just like taking them to a doctor's appointment, or again, grocery shopping, or to activities.
So Charlene says, Charlene has her son, Alex. How big is the group home? So 3 to 4 individuals?
Yeah, and just like a regular family-sized home. Yeah.
And then is it paid by Medicaid? I'm assuming, yes?
Yes, it depends. So, the IHOs, no.
Okay.
Not so much.
Because they're working individuals.
Yeah, they pay
Okay.
their own rent. Yeah, the others, yes. And waivered services, yeah.
Yes. Do the people there have family that visit?
Yep.
Yep.
We have an open door policy at the houses. So
Which-
if you are a
yeah.
family member or a case manager, day program, job support counselor, those people are always welcome to you can just show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does someone manage their meds?
Yes, I do actually.
Oh,
I
really?
do that too. Yeah. So
Do you go to every house?
Yes, not every single day. But so every guy has a list online of their current medications, anything that's scheduled, anything that's an over-the-counter. We have like a PRN list that their doctor goes through and says like, yes, you can, no, you can't. All of those are listed. I get all of the orders directly, so anytime that there's a med change, I get those before they get sent, the instructions get sent to the house, just because I'm also always checking for like interactions, and the pharmacy does that too. But the database that we use, when I put medications in, sometimes I'll get like little red flags that come up and say like, this might interfere with this, and so then I have to double check and check up on that. And then psych meds is a big thing. If you're somebody who's on psych meds, we have to watch for tardive dyskinesia, so like any signs of that, and then report that to the psych doctor.
I toured, actually Anna was on here, I toured Els for Autism, which is like a school in Florida, and then the most beautiful home that was built on the property, but you went like into a locked room, into a locked cabinet for those meds. Like it was like very serious.
So at our houses, it's typically like a walk-in pantry that they've kind of refurbished into like just a large walk-in closet. And all meds are kept in there behind lock and key, obviously, all the time. The staff have to keep the keys on them, or the staff have to keep the keys in a locked, separate box.
I'm sure.
To get access to them.
Okay, we'll just do a few more questions. Okay. It's my friend Marion. Do you know if this is available in all states? Group home settings?
I would think so. The way to find out would be to contact your case manager. So they're the people that will, get that ball rolling.
Oh, Lori's in Duluth. Do you have job coaches? My son has graduated and it's very difficult to find day programming in Duluth. Lori, we're close to you right now.
We don't have job coaches through our company. If your son or daughter is in a day program setting, they will have a job coach there. Or if they get a community job through, let's say, like a Kaposia or a TSE, which are day placement programs, oftentimes they will have job coaches that go and visit them out on their job site in the community.
How would you care for a nonverbal type 1 diabetic?
Oh, we actually don't have any type 1 diabetics currently, but we have a few nonverbal guys.
Would you be able to take care of a diabetic?
Oh yeah, we have type 2 diabetics.
Okay.
Yeah, we have lots of diabetics. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I worry about Cooper so much.
Yeah.
Do any of the houses have nurses that oversee medical needs?
No, so we don't have, which ours is a little bit of a different situation. Bigger companies typically do have a nurse like on call for their company specifically. Because we're so small, we don't have a nurse, but the staff would just call their doctor directly, or we have access to, like, all of their lead staff have access to their online portals.
Oh, okay.
Where they can like send a note or,
Yeah. Can they have a pet?
Yes, we have quite a few guys who have, as long as their housemates don't have allergies. So we've run into a couple of that where somebody really wants a cat. I personally think every single house should have a therapy dog or a therapy cat. But sometimes people just have allergies and you can't make it happen.
Yeah.
We have birds.
Birds.
We do. We have birds. Lemon and blueberry.
In Wisconsin, we have a program called DVR. Oh, I've heard of that. They help people with disabilities get job coaches. I would think Minnesota has something similar.
Probably.
Our agency has nurses for the group homes, both RNs. I think that's because you're so small. Yeah. That's why.
It is really common in bigger companies.
Yeah.
To have that.
I think, but like with someone like Cooper, who does not have any right now complex medical needs, like nursing would even be on my radar. But if you have someone that was, what happens if it's not working out? What happens if
for us or for them?
Can you say something to both?
Yeah. So, well, honestly, we haven't really had a situation where the client wanted to terminate services.
Because I've heard, and I'll just say this really quickly because Adrian always says this, my friend Adrian, who has a son who's 11.
Yeah.
I think that Cooper's going to want to live with me forever, but there's probably going to come a day where we're boring and old, and he's going to want to live with his peers and have fun. Is that what you see?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's always very difficult for families to initiate this process. So it's scary, and the higher need that your son or daughter is, the more terrifying it can be. Especially if you have somebody who's nonverbal, because you worry about, like, if something happens, would they tell you? Could they tell you in some type of way? So we've had instances where the person was just too physically aggressive. Like, we had a staff who was very badly beaten. And so we did terminate services with that person. It just wasn't, the environment for him wasn't going to work.
It wasn't right.
Yeah, it just wasn't the right fit. And it's always really hard when that has to happen. Because you feel like you're giving up on somebody.
What was the family like when that happened?
He actually didn't have a family. He came to us from a minor group home situation where he was basically like abandoned by his family in this setting, and then he aged out of it. So then he came to our company, and so there was already a lack of trust from him.
I'm sure.
Just which understandably, you know what I mean? So and the staff that worked with him, she was a great staff. So the fact that this happened, it was like, I think he needs like a med evaluation first. Like, there's a handful of things that need to happen before he will be successful in a setting like this. And so I think he ended up going to like a crisis bed, which we absolutely hate. Anybody having to go to that type of setting, because it's
hopefully it was a reset,
right? And sometimes that's what you need.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've only had to do that a couple of times. We've not had anybody that terminated services with us, but the other way around. But they could, for sure. Like, if it didn't work out, or if a family felt like, or a case manager felt like it wasn't a good setting, I think we would obviously ask, is there anything that we can do to make this work? But if not, you want people to be able to, they're people. You want them to be able to have the best life that they can, and if that's not with us, then that's just, that is what it is,
Okay, I have two more questions. The first one is, Cooper, in our school journey, what I've learned is one of the biggest triggers for an autistic person is another autistic person. And so parents are laughing, I'm sure, when I say that, because it's very true. Like, if you have a vocal stimmer and someone who can't handle noise and they're in the same classroom, have you ever had anything like that happen?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we ended up moving one of them. We swapped houses. But that also goes into when you're looking at taking on, like, if you have an open bed at a house and you're looking on bringing a new person in, that process is actually pretty painstaking, because you really need to take into account the current people that live there and who you're bringing in, and if that could mesh well or not.
Like, Cooper doesn't like shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we actually have one of our guys who loves chaos.
Yeah.
Like, he won't ever join in on it or like make a situation worse, but he loves to like
observe it.
He loves noise, and he loves to see, other people just kind of acting out. And so when he was looking for a spot, and we had a bed open at one of our like higher needs houses, it actually worked out really well because he's the chillest guy in the house.
Oh, funny.
And he loves when everybody else is, having a hard time.
Yes.
Yeah, but he doesn't contribute to it.
I actually can totally I can see this and picture it very well.
Yeah.
What would you say to a family that is terrified? Because are you the first point?
No. So usually your case manager
is
who you would talk to. You have to have a waiver. So if you don't have a case manager, you have to go through that whole process to obtain one first. And then if you're kind of at the point, or even if you're not at the point and you just kind of want more information, your case manager is your first step always. Okay. When you get to the process where you're actually like touring homes, the best advice I could give you is talk to the staff when you do your tours. If you go and do a tour somewhere and it's empty, like there's none of the residents are living there and all of the staff are gone, to me that's a red flag.
Like you want to
the chaos that's happening. You want to be able to talk to the staff, ask them how long they've worked there. Ask them how long their coworkers have worked there. Ask them, if they feel supported by management. All of these things play because the staff is the front line. I mean, I work in the office, so like I help manage this, but I talk to the staff numerous times a day, every single day, because they're the ones that are the direct support people. So if they've been there a long time, that means that they're happy, and that means that they feel supportive. If you are touring somewhere that has like a very high turnover rate, that's a red flag.
Which I think is one of our fears as parents. Yeah. Because we see, like, I'm making this up, but like Cooper School at any given time has 10 open para positions, or it's terrifying. Also, I think it sets up this distrust. So I have this weird distrust that no one's going to like my son because I've seen some things. Yeah. So
there's good people out there.
There are good people.
There are really good. I love all of our staff. I also do the hiring, so that's why I'm like I do a lot.
Is it a lot of college age kids?
Kind of. It depends. You get like I said, we have some staff who've been with us since the company opened, so 26 years. So they're fairly older people. Usually your overnight staff will be older folks. They're just like, we just want to lay down. So, yeah.
We're here to sleep.
Yeah, we do have a lot of younger staff though that, go to activities in the evening. We have guys who do like Special Olympics stuff. Yeah, that's really.
We were just at a play, and I know my supporters know this. We brought Cooper to see a play, Harbor to see Beauty and the Beast. Oh. And there was a woman behind us with 4 individuals with disabilities. Like, Jamie and I knew, like, right away. Yeah. And so he's like, don't talk to her. And I'm like, hi! Yeah. I was like, who do you work for? And, like, one of the individuals sang every song. Yeah. Like, it was so endearing and so, I mean, we were happy. It was so perfect for us to be there. Mm-hmm. There was one guy that sat like this the whole time. That's so Cooper. Like, just like so annoyed. But I have this fear of sending Cooper in the community with anyone but me. I just love when I see it. It brings me so much joy.
Yeah. Yeah, training plays a big part. Like I said, make sure that they feel supported. That's your big thing. And their turnover rate, a lot of that also has to do with pay. A lot of larger companies, I feel like, in general, GSP, PCAs are underpaid people.
Oh yeah,
it's like nursing.
So are CNA. So I used to work in the nursing home setting, houses for Alzheimer's and dementia, and CNAs is the position. They would hop companies. Yeah. For like 50 cents.
A lot of times you'll find in those larger companies, a lot of people are working overtime because they need the better pay. But overtime leads to exhaustion, which can lead to
frustration and.
Yeah, so we like to really keep an eye on. I also do scheduling, so I keep an eye on all of that. Yeah.
This is awesome. Do you have any open beds right now?
We do not. There's a giant waiting list.
And do you suggest parents get on it early?
You could, but it wouldn't be. So the waiting list isn't necessarily just for our company. It's for a bed anywhere. Oh. Yeah, so and it's rare that beds open up. I've been there for it'll be 14 years this spring, and we've only had 4 beds open.
What?
The entire time that we've been there.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we had guys that had passed away, old age. Yeah.
My friend Gina, one of our fellow moms, her son Carter is in a group home, and she is just speaking at how much Carter, he's nonverbal, he's like grown and blossomed, and but she was saying a bed opened up and they had to hop on. It was like fast.
Yeah.
And it happened, I'm not speaking for her, but it happened faster than they thought. And I think about that. I stress when feeling pressured to make a decision.
Yeah. Especially because something like that. You know, if you have to make a split decision, that can be difficult.
Oh, hey, Sarah. I don't think you would know anything about Florida, would you?
No.
No. But so should they contact their county to start? Probably. I'm guessing that's the gateway.
If you don't have a waiver, if you don't have a case manager, the county is always going to be your starting point. But just kind of reiterate what I said earlier. When you go to look at different places, watch out for, I would call them red flags. You know, if a higher turnover rate with staff, if the staff don't feel supported by their company management, if you tour a home and it's completely empty, like they have all the residents gone or all the staff are gone, to me, that would be a red flag, especially if they weren't willing to let you come back at a different time when everybody's there. We've
had daycares, not to interrupt you, that have been like, you can come tour on the days that we're not open or something, and it's like, I want to see when there's kids in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We always try to have guys come and like do dinner at the house with their families during that time, because dinner time can be very busy and kind of chaotic. Right. So that's usually actually a good time to go.
Yeah. Okay, this was awesome. Any other questions? Let's just see if anyone else has any. Do they share rooms?
No.
Yeah, I think all the ones that I've heard about, there's no room sharing.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I toured one, and it was so interesting because like one individual had a girlfriend that would come spend some time. Mm-hmm. One had, very active family. It was just like, one individual was more like Cooper and non-speaking, and he like just loved to sit near people, and like he loved the chaos. And
we had a guy who was married.
Really?
Yeah, he was married. His wife also had the mental disability, and the rules are different when you're married. She could live there with him if she wanted to. They did not. He eventually ended up moving out, and they lived together separate, like in their own apartment with some like ILS supports. But yeah.
Oh, I love that. Kate, you have to open a house like this for sure.
We do have.
There's a moratorium. You can't open them. So this is why. So parents, the new thing now, maybe you've heard this, is two parents coming together, buying a house, or four parents, whatever, and then just staffing it amongst.
So we've done contracted staffing in one situation, where I guess actually these were our female clients. It was a house with your females that lived there. And we did the staffing. They contracted our company to do the staffing for them.
Oh, we could do that.
And the three of them, it was a disaster. Like, those three girls should have never, ever.
They weren't compatible.
No. So they ended up, like, all moving out separately. Well, one stayed. The other two ended up moving out into different settings themselves. But, yeah.
Is there any self-pay?
Yeah, the independent housing option guys.
Okay. Yeah, when I worked in the nursing homes, that Alzheimer's setting, so our places were memory care buildings. They were gorgeous, like a home, 10 residents, but no one could really afford to self-pay.
Yeah.
You could never afford it. I mean, it was like $8,000 a month. I mean, maybe someone could, but yeah. Okay, well, this is awesome. Thank you. If you have any more questions and you're watching this later, put them in here and I can ask her and we can answer. So, okay, bye guys. Hope needs milk.